What up, 50% gang? This is just a little heads up that this episode was originally released on audio platforms on the 19th of October 2020. So it's exclusively on audio. Now it's available on YouTube. Still no footage attached, but you can hear it for the very first time on YouTube, as I know a lot of people have been enjoying going back and listening to them for the very first time. Hope you enjoy, and a new episode of the podcast coming this Monday. Looking forward for RTD2. RTD2? Yeah, RTD2 and David Tennant to Series 14, 60th level, 60th chats, you know. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road to 500. Let's get there. And yeah, enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. We got a huge episode today. Huge episode today. I'm, one of your big boy hosts, Aiden Green, right here. I'm joined here by the amazing Connor Hannum, like usual.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
There we go.
So much for that lovely intro, Aiden.
Yeah, no problem. And we're joined once again by our recurring once per season guest, Daniel Ade.
The man, the myth, the legend, Daniel Ade.
I am here.
Oh, yeah.
I am here and I am ready to review, baby.
Yeah. Do you just like doing this?
It's been so long since we had you on last.
I didn't hear either of those. I'm going to say it was about a season ago I came on. It was for...
Sorry, it's so hard.
What did I come on? It was for the...
Boomtown.
It was Boomtown.
Yeah, Boomtown, that's it.
It was like the second last of the season, just like this one. So, we give Dan the worst episodes.
Yeah,
well, I guess it's like kind of... It's like, subjective what the worst episode is of the season. A lot of people will probably say Love and Monsters.
Well, I have a lot...
Series 2, but...
Yeah, I have a lot to say about this one. And I would actually agree, I guess, in a way that this was worse than Love and Monsters. Because I actually like Love and Monsters. But
what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
I guess.
I love it.
Honestly.
I think it's
Hey,
so funny.
it's
just so funny.
It's got a lot of fun.
Did you rewatch it?
You might hate me for this,
like
but I
you
actually liked it. I liked a decent amount of this episode too. So maybe that'll be controversial.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Did you? You said you were gonna rewatch it and give like a 5-second review. Did you rewatch Love Monsters? Okay.
I didn't rewatch.
I
Love
knew you put it off
Monsters,
too long. I know.
I did look at some clips and yeah, I'd have to watch the full episode to properly. Maybe next season I'll just randomly.
It's so fucked.
Say, oh, by the way, I watched Love and Monsters.
Right. Yeah.
But no,
yeah.
I think it's a fun episode. It's random.
What episode are you gonna demand to be on?
What episode am I coming on next season? Blink is taken. I've been told. That's what's been.
Yeah, I think Xavier's got Blink. Is that right, Aiden?
Yeah, Zave seemed pretty keen on Blink. So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Dan.
No, that's okay. Blink's almost too good for me to come on.
Maybe you can do 42.
You have to do the shit episodes.
You can probably do 42. 42 is like the worst, I think, of next season.
I mentioned Gridlock as well, just because I feel like that's also a very Russell episode.
Yeah.
I like Gridlock.
Yeah.
No,
You can't what you like.
that's the thing, I mean-
I'm not here to say no.
But no, we will have to play it by ear. You guys might have to walk me a little bit through the structure here because I do have my questions, but I don't know if we do that at the top or at the end. So.
That's what we start with, my man. So let's weave on into that segment. Let's do it.
So I was told to prepare 3 questions each for each boy
right.
here who hosts this podcast. And I did a lot of digging for these boys. No, not necessarily research-wise, just I thought a lot about them.
Good lad.
And I think they're pretty hard. I think you might have a bit of trouble answering these. I tried to give a decent mix of like some hard for each, some sort of easier. And I don't know what to start with exactly. But I guess I'll start.
Hold on, I gotta raise the stakes here, Dan. This is the penultimate round of this challenge. This is the semi-finals, right? So, and the issue we have is I'm 2 points ahead of Connor. So, technically, the most we can get is a draw by the end. So what we're gonna do is this round is double points. Huge.
Double points.
All right. Okay, Aiden. My question for you, my first question for you,
Cool.
is about this episode that we just watched.
Oh God, my favorite of all time.
Fear Her. Can you tell me? There's a bit of trivia, if you will, about this episode.
Oh god.
Now you might know it, but who was originally supposed to write this episode?
Ooh. That's
a good
tricky.
one.
And I'm avoiding.
that.
I have the Wikipedia page for this episode open up here, and I was
Oh
like,
no!
tempted
Oh no!
just-
Well,
No, don't worry. It's. I'm not
Okay.
reading it right now, and it's not on the
Okay.
production part. It's just like the synopsis there, so it's fine. Who was
Okay,
originally
cool,
supposed to
cool,
write
cool.
this episode? Oh.
yes.
Hmm.
And not. I'll. I don't want to give you any like help or hints, but I'm not necessarily saying like they gave the concept to a different writer, but like this slot per se. You know what I mean?
Ah.
I won't go into any further than
yeah,
that. So
no.
you tell me.
I'll just say Gattis, Marky Boy.
Incorrect. So this is
Shit. I
some
would
of
say
them. I'm
guys.
not going to give all the answers until the end, but this one I will give the answer now, just because it's actually a fun bit of trivia. So this episode, or at least this episode slot, was originally supposed to be written by Stephen Fry, of all people.
Whoa. Oh,
supposed
I did
to
know
write-
that.
Yeah, so he was supposed to write an episode for season 2, and I think it was either because of scheduling conflicts or for whatever reason he was unable to make make a writing credit for this season. And so because of that, they had to give it to like a staff writer or someone and basically just say, look, here's the slot. You know, we have an episode that needs to be written because Stephen Fry couldn't do it. And yeah, I'm sure you'll get into some of the trivia later, but we can get into that a bit later. So, Connor, my next question is for you. I guess we flip-flop between them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's naught for Aiden, Connor. So you need to really punch above your weight
Okay.
in this episode. All right. My first question for you, Connor. I don't have them in the right order, but that's fine. My first question for you is, can you name or can you tell me what are the 4 changes that happened to the... And I hope this is not too easy, but the 4 changes, it has to be 4, that happened to the intro during Russell's era. Russell T Davies era. What are there are 4 changes that happened over the course of Russell T Davies writing era.
Cast.
What happened?
Do like cast changes count, like the titles?
Yeah,
Does
so
that count?
not to do with the cast. So the names are the only thing that I'm not including, but apart from names,
Okay.
what are the 4 changes?
I could only do 2.
Okay, well the theme changes obviously a bit. I think it changes. No, it doesn't change
What,
every season, but it
the
changes.
middle
I know
8?
it's in series 4. It's different. Yeah. That's
Yes,
one.
that's one. That's one.
Jeez, 4 changes in all of them. Fuck.
Does this include the end credits?
no,
stumped
this is
it.
just the
There's
opening
4?
intro.
Okay.
Just the opening intro, not the credits.
Yes.
So
think
there's
about
the music.
like,
So the scores.
the score's 1.
Go on.
Are you asking me for the rest of them? You're supposed to come up with it.
No. I'm thinking. I know that the blue and red, or at least is what I interpreted. The blue and the red is meant to symbolize forward and back in time. That's what I took away from it. I'm stumped. I don't know unless it's the change in cast, which you said it's not.
I have one more.
No, I don't know.
so
Can you tell me that one?
I
or
would
not?
say one of them, or at least 2 of them are kind of hard. My original wording of this was, can you name 3 of the 4? So I'll say if you can come up with 3 of the 4, because it is very, honestly, either of you, like it's a hard thing. 2 of them I'd say are really hard.
It's going to be a
2 of
minute
them
detail.
are a bit more noticeable, but
It's probably a minute detail, like something
Yeah,
on
it's
the
not that
TARDIS
obvious,
or
like-
Yeah, I don't
Can I
know.
say one?
I don't know. It always looks the same to me, apart from the score in the background. Yeah, I'm out of ideas.
Aiden,
so go
do
ahead.
you have one?
The logo changes.
The
Yeah,
what?
that's one.
The logo, it goes from like the plain flat sort of silver one that season 1 and 2, And then in either season 3 or 4, it gets like the sort of fiery thing behind it
More
that
of
we
a-
see on all the merchandise and shit.
I see. Okay, I didn't even notice that. Okay, what can you say the other ones, Dan?
Yeah, so that's one. So in the Aiden's right. In the first series, or I think maybe the first 2, it's like really shiny.
It still is now.
I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like a leaf shape behind the Doctor.
Looks like a surfboard.
Yeah. It looks like the Silver Surfer's surfboard in the first
That's what I always
2
thought.
seasons. And then in 3 or 4, or maybe in just season 4, it becomes, like Aiden says, it's got almost like a fiery, almost like a leopard print
Shit.
more so on it. So that's the
foxy
second
logo.
change. The third change, change 3 and 4 are very small. So the third change is that in series 2 only, they have in the intro, the color is changed slightly. I think it's like from purple to red. It's like a really small change, and apparently it's for 1 season. So
Weird.
that was going to be why I said 3 or 4, because that one's really hard to tell. But the fourth one actually is in the 4th season. The TARDIS has a higher quality model in the intro,
Interesting.
or it's like
Yeah, I had
slightly
a feeling it'd be
different.
something
I
to
feel
do
like
with
we've now
TARDIS, so
become
I think I've heard
one of those
TARDIS
really
was-
nerdy Doctor Who podcasts. Where
I wasn't sure how
Yeah.
nerdy you guys were. That's why I was trying to get the real like niche questions.
Yeah, these are hard. These are hard.
All right, so that's not. Yeah, that's not. I told you they were hard. I did give you the warning. That's not for naught.
Yep.
I love how you start the
hit me.
question like, oh, this might be a little bit too easy, and it's about the TARDIS being like a different bloody a few pixels better.
No, I
That's
wasn't
not
sure. I
easy.
wasn't sure. All right, Aiden,
all right,
your
go on.
question
Let's
now
speed round. Let's do
is,
it.
what was the first episode produced or shot? That's a slash. It's like either produced or shot, however you want to phrase it. What was the first episode produced or shot in the Series 2 production block?
That's a good one.
It's too obvious.
And I'll give you a warning. This one is very hard.
Oh my god.
Well, maybe not very hard,
Damn.
but you'll have to think about this.
Okay,
one.
Connor
Don't
and I have been talking about. We know that the last 5 definitely.
Yeah.
The last 6 all sort of took place definitely at the end of the block.
Okay,
so-
wait. Can I also interject here?
Yeah.
This question is like, and I'm only saying this so you don't call foul when I tell you the answer. It's kind of, you might think it's a little bit of a trick question. I wouldn't say it is, but it's sort of not what you think. I know that makes it so much harder, but
All right.
think outside the box, so to speak.
Can I
I'm
can I
so
say
confused. I wouldn't know what to guess.
the 2005 Children in Need special?
Oh, fuck you, Aiden.
Is it actually that?
That's what it was, yeah.
Shit.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good, lad. Very good.
I'm proud of that.
Shit.
Very, very good. Yes. And it was actually the first David and Billy episode to air because it aired before the Christmas invasion.
Yeah, of course,
so
yeah.
there you go.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty facts.
I thought that would be a question that you guys might get. So I was like, I'll put it in, but yeah, I don't know if I gave it away too much, but anyway.
All right.
Question number 2 for Connor is in New Who. So I'm just talking New Who, and as a disclaimer, I'm not counting Timeless Children in this, so you're safe. In New who are the 4 actors / like you don't, if you can't name the actor name, you can name the character kind of, who have portrayed either like the Doctor or incarnations of the Doctor, other than obviously the person who's the current star of it.
Ooh.
Wait, so I got to name people who have played the Doctor who... Oh, so like stuff like Okay, I'm a bit confused. Can you rephrase the question again?
So you can start answering, and I won't discredit you if you get one wrong. But if you're on the right track, I'll.
So in like, New who's played the Doctor in scenes?
Who's played like previous incarnations
who hasn't
of the
been
Doctor?
like the Doctor? Yes.
Who has played previous incarnations of the Doctor and not counting?
No, that's Aiden's phrasing of the question.
Okay, sorry.
My phrasing is.
I know why you have to rephrase this as well.
Who has played like incarnations of the Doctor or just versions of the Doctor within New Who? That obviously is not the main star at the time.
All right, if I start answering this,
Ooh,
this isn't my answer.
right now.
So, do you mean stuff like?
No,
people
it won't
at the start of the
disqualify
time,
you.
Like, so you mean like people like I don't know, like David in Day of the Doctor and okay. So David and Day and the Doctor, we've got John Hurt.
No.
What?
David was a
I'm so
star,
confused.
so that he already is a. No, you're not getting discounted. I'm just saying there are
Okay.
only 4, right? So there's not that many. There's only 4, but people who have played Doctors who did not get their own series in New Who.
So I mean, technically,
who
Paul
are the actors who
McGann.
have done
Technically, Paul McGann did stuff in the background.
Was he technically
Yeah,
in
but
New
that
Who,
would
though?
be more of a mini-sode.
I have thought.
Okay,
I would not count that.
really-
No, yeah, I would not count that.
Okay, so we got.
I've got it, I think.
John Hurt. We've also got David Morse,
Okay,
Doctor.
John Hurt is one. Oh,
David
actually,
Morse's
I didn't
Doctor.
think of
He
David
doesn't play the
Morse's
Doctor, though. He doesn't. I'd argue that.
Yeah, he doesn't
I mean,
technically play the Doctor, so that's why he wasn't on my list.
He just thinks he's the Doctor.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
fair
would say that's points for thinking outside the box, but I'm talking like canonically is the Doctor, but is not either like a classic hit series actor or you catch what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. I mean, look, if we're not talking like timeless children or that, and we're not talking like. I mean, I'm a bit, to be honest with you, maybe I'm just fucking stupid. I'm a bit confused with the question, but all I can really think about is like John Hurt and all that.
Just
Yeah, John Hurt.
to give one last crack at the question for you, Connor. Who has played the Doctor in New Who, but is not Christopher, David, Matt, Pete, or Jodie? Is that right?
Yeah, that's a
What,
great
Joe?
way. Yes, that's a
Joe
great way.
Martin?
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
Okay,
so
so
that's
that's
2. 2 out of 4.
And there's
Yep.
4.
Yeah. That's
Shit,
four.
man.
Technically,
4.
there's 4. Yes, technically, yes.
And it doesn't count. Count the next Doctor.
No.
No,
There's-
David Morrissey
I just-
doesn't
I feel like-
technically
I feel
count.
like
There's one tricky one, Connor,
I feel like it's technically.
and there's
like,
one
I
that
think it's-
you're missing. That's a bit more obvious.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like
there's
it's like
one-
literally staring me right.
There's
in the
one
face.
you definitely know, but you're not thinking of. Almost, I think, because they. I don't want to say it, but yeah, like the way it's done in the show is almost. Yeah. Come on, man.
You've had so long on this question.
I know. That's the thing. I know we're taking too long, so. Fuck it, go on. What is it?
All right, so
Can I?
David Bradley
Yeah.
as first Doctor.
Oh, yeah,
David
of course.
Bradley
Of
and
course, yeah.
Tom Baker
course,
playing
yeah.
the
Wait,
Doctor.
Lost my time. Oh yeah, true. Shit.
Interesting
Fuck, yeah,
that
true.
you guessed that. Aiden, your next question is. Aiden, your next
no.
question is. And this is almost a meme question, but I quiz you this because you love old Who.
Okay.
So you get the classic Who question.
Fuck.
And it's a bit of a meme at the moment. Who is Davros's mother?
Fuck you.
And I'll give you a hint. It may or may not be Jodie Whittaker.
The Doctor.
Is that actually my question?
Your question legitimately is, who is Davros's mother?
If I answer Jodie Whittaker,
I'll give you a hint. It's not Jodie Whittaker. It's not Jodie's doctor. So that's off the table. And if you don't know it, you won't know it. It's actually a bit. Let me put it this way. They do a Big Finish audio of all things where they say who Davros's mother is. What's it called? It's called like Innocence or something like that.
Hit me with it.
But yeah. Her name is Calcula is her name. Apparently she died when Davros was, when Davros was at the ripe old age of 6, apparently.
Amazing.
So he's a little bit of an orphan guy. All right, Connor, your third question.
So there's a lot of pressure on this now, because if I get this, then we're drawed for the final. If I get this wrong, Aiden's won the whole fucking thing. So if I don't get this right, that's it.
So
that's it.
Tell me this, Connor.
What?
What was the only episode of New Who that is set entirely, like as in within the plot, set entirely in the TARDIS?
Are we counting Minnesotes? Or
No. So
I know
full episodes. Oh
Aiden's
yes,
was-
sorry. That's a disclaimer. In terms of full episodes, because obviously the 2005 one is technically set all in the TARDIS.
I know it.
There's the whole space.
Well, it's not.
There's the whole space and time minisodes. They're set in the TARDIS, but I'm talking full episode, and it's. There is actually
I
only
think I
one.
got it. I think I got it. Is it?
It is the only.
Is it technically? It's technically Amy's choice because they never leave the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Because they're still.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Mama did it.
And by the way, that's who
so
was
glad I
the
didn't
fourth
get that wrong.
person I was talking about on my other question.
What
Was
the
the Dream
Lord?
Oh, the Dream Lord does
Yes,
not
the
count
Dream
as a
Lord was who
doctor.
I was talking about. I said
That's
incarnate. That's
debatable.
why I said. Excuse
That's
me.
debatable.
That's why I said incarnations of the Doctor. I was trying to talk about like portrayals.
Alright.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
At least me and Aiden
Fuck,
are head
what
and head
happens
now.
now?
Thank you, sir.
Well, it's 1 and 1, so
Connor and I
it's a
have
draw.
both got one
I
right.
activated Siri. Whoops.
Well,
I
it's a draw,
activated her
so
again.
we'll just go into next week, and it's whoever wins.
I mean, we can, but because technically we would both get 2 points for that, so we'd be in the same conundrum of me being 2 points ahead of you.
Well, if I was actually thinking that if it does end in a draw, we could finish it. We could go into Runaway Bride with like the final questions.
I reckon we just go winner takes all next week.
I feel like 2 episodes down.
Or we can just do
points
that, yeah,
down
sure.
is pretty. That's
Sure.
that's within striking distance. You know what I mean? That's close enough to really
Huge.
make a dent.
Connor, I've been giving you so much
technically we're
leeway
even now.
throughout this whole quiz show.
Man, fuck you.
This is the final
Fuck you.
bit of leeway.
Yeah, sorry if that
know it's
the
true.
question about the 4 Doctor incarnations was a bit poorly worded, but if you get the idea of what I was trying to say.
That was confusing.
I don't think it
I
was.
do
I
get
don't know.
it, yeah.
Connor just had an aneurysm, I think.
Thank you,
I
Aiden.
think
It's
you
hard
did
to
have
hear
a.
everyone right now.
I'm just surprised
You
you
know,
didn't get
it's-
David Bradley of all people. Like the Dream Lord, I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting, but
We're live on air. Aiden's saying I'm taking too long. Everyone's talking at once. I can barely hear you when anyone isn't talking. I got nervous. I couldn't think.
this is Who Wants
But
to Be a Millionaire
Dan-
all of a sudden.
My question is, what about the curator? You missed the curator.
Yeah, so here, what I was meaning and what I should have said was that actors who hadn't previously portrayed the Doctor, and I actually, by the way, I did say in New Who, so that's a bit of a clarification that I was talking specifically in New Who.
But he is a New Who.
Yeah, but he's in Classic Who. So
Yeah, but he's not playing the 4th Doctor. He plays the curator.
Isn't he?
yeah, exactly. So he's not even playing the
You're a
Doctor
liar.
then. So he's not playing the Doctor.
Yeah, but the curator, Big Finish has a fucking curator Big Finish coming out where the curator is pretty much the Doctor, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, please. First of all, you just said it's not even out yet. And second of all, Big Finish can fucking suck my nut.
Your question was, who is Davros's
It's kind of-
fucking mum from Big Finish?
It got referenced in Big
but
Finish. It's
that
still
question
canon,
was a meme. And by the way,
technically.
there was a reasonable assumption for you to know that, because I know you listened to the Big Finish and it's been a meme all week. So I thought there might have been
I've
a possibility.
listened to like 3 or 4 Big Finish in my life.
Hey, and you're giving me no
maybe it was the
leeway, by the
Davros
way.
one.
We're just doing double. I reckon that's fair. I don't think I've been given much
Yeah,
leeway.
look, all right,
We're fair and square
let's
now,
roll into the
motherfucker.
fucking intro.
50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50%. Podcast.
And we're back. Connor, your dancing is really, it's bad.
Thank you, Aiden. I dance every week. And that's the only time
No
you
worries.
criticised it.
So now
It's
that
just
we're,
us, Aiden loves it.
we're 25 minutes into this fucking episode.
I've cracked my third beer. That's how much. Not third beer of the episode, but third beer of the night.
I'm drinking some
Get through
gnarly
this
ass
shit.
whiskey right now. It's awful.
I had a couple of beers, but I've got to drive, so I'm on the tee now, I'm afraid.
Jeez, where are you
Anyways.
driving at this time of night, Aid?
Home. Kidding. The long way around. Today, we are
Right.
talking about Fear Her, if you didn't know.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Fear... Did you burp, Dan?
No, I said yes.
Oh, I thought you burped. Need I remind you of the no burp rule?
I need no reminding, Aiden. Need you
Good
don't.
boy. Good boy. All right. Fear Her is the 11th episode of the second series of the British science fiction series Doctor Who, first broadcast on BBC One on the 24th of June 2006. It was written by Matthew Graham and directed by Euros Lynn. Wow, I'm so sad
boy.
that this is a Euros Lynn episode.
I know. I literally thought of you when I saw
The
it.
episode takes place in London on the day of the 2012 Summer Olympics opening ceremony. In the episode, the alien time traveler, the Doctor, David Tennant, and his traveling companion, Rose Tyler, Billy Piper, investigate the lonely girl, Chloe Webber. Ebola Agbe
Ebola.
has the ability to
Ebola.
make people disappear by drawing them. Sorry, Abisola Agbaje. Maybe?
Ebola.
Maybe? I don't know.
Aiden,
like
I'm not
Ebola.
going to try. I don't think I could
We'll go
pronounce
with
it worse than
Ebola.
you, but I'm still
We'll
not
go
going to
with
try.
Oh.
After this podcast,
Alright.
I want to bloody go because of Ebola.
Who wants to go? Dan, you're the guest. You want to go
Alright.
first? Talk to us about Fear Her.
Okay, so Fear Her was the episode 12 of season 2. No, I'm joking. Aiden just did all that.
It's 11. Anyway,
Fear
it's
Her.
sad, man.
It's 11.
I know.
Yeah.
It said 12 on Stan. I'm sorry.
Did it? Oh, yeah.
So
Cats.
I
Christmas
forgot about the
version.
Christmas. Anyway, I forgot about the 2005 Red Nose Day special.
Minnesota.
So basically, I would say about Fear Her, and I actually, and Connor and I spoke about this on our podcast of all things, which is not a Doctor Who podcast, but sometimes it comes up about how
That's For All Life podcast,
you know,
by the way.
I personally don't feel Chibnall really has as much of a style as the previous showrunners do. And this episode, I feel like, is so classic Russell T Davies. Obviously, he didn't write it, but just his era, I feel like the way that he gets his writers to... I feel like in the writer's room, Russell says to them, yeah, but it's not sci-fi enough. You know, we really have to just shoehorn in some shitty sci-fi, like, plot line or conclusion because it's a sci-fi show, you know. And like this episode, I think actually starts with a really interesting premise. I actually like the cold open with the whole stop motion, which is so funny that they don't ever do that again. They obviously paid some animator
That's true.
to do stop motion for the very first bit, and then just couldn't be asked for the rest of the episode. But
Yeah, actually, I never noticed that.
yeah, no, I always noticed.
Neither.
I remember when I first watched this episode, I was like, I saw the stop motion. I was like, oh, cool. And then I was waiting for it and it never came again. So I've always felt a bit burnt by that. But this episode, you know, it has a very interesting premise, if you ask me, because it's a small town. It's a tight-knit community. It's ordinary people. It's Earth. So it's all very relatable. It's all something that I think anyone can look at and go, that's where I feel like I'm, you know, familiar. You know, it's a community. There are differing people. There's the council workers. There's the neighbors, all that shit. And it's all very familiar. You know, I think sometimes sci-fi stuff can run the risk of being a bit too unrelatable, a bit too wacky, because then you're like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to relate to this? If, you know, I've never been to X planet or I've never seen X alien. You know, it's all very grounded at the start, and it's missing kids. And that's a very relatable, oh no, what's happened to the kids? And, you know, the way it starts as well, just the humorous nature of the Doctor, like stopping, facing the wrong way, and then having to reposition the TARDIS.
That's brilliant.
Those small moments really, those are just special, you know? I feel like those have not been as abundant in the last few seasons, and those are really nice little moments. And also, Connor mentioned on Snapchat, but I also enjoyed it when I watched it, was the moment where the Doctor mentions being a dad. But I'm sure we can get to that later.
I love it.
But yeah, I just really think that the episode had a lot of potential. And then as it goes on, it just gets a bit more wacky and a bit more silly and a bit more out there. And I just don't think it takes the plot in a compelling direction, especially with how interesting it sets it up. It's this small town. It's not even a town. It's just like a street, you know, a couple of houses. You could have done a lot with that. Things disappearing, you know, but yeah, unfortunately it goes in a much more cliche direction than it's set up to. And, yeah, I just think it really falls onto that, like, it has to be this big sci-fi spaceship fucking, you know, resolution, which I understand that they have to do that, but I just felt like, I was actually reminded a lot of the episode Midnight, where that is also, like, very few people, it's very small scale, but what I like about Midnight is they never explain what happens, or why. Whereas in this episode, they almost over-explain it, and they just go way too much into the mythology of the monster instead of just letting the monster be scary, you know. But those are generally my thoughts. I know I rambled there for a bit, but yeah, that would be generally my thoughts, and I'll let you guys jump in. That's what the show's
for. You know, you're talking about this, like, the funny moments and stuff with the TARDIS and shit. You know what else is just like a weird, hilarious moment? When the Doctor just, like, grabs the jar, puts his fingers in it and puts it in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he just looks at Rose, and Rose is like, no. And he's like,
that's so bizarre. Isn't that? It's crazy. Like,
so weird.
I love that scene. It's so out of place, but it's so funny. And you're like, does he normally do stuff like that? Like, it's weird.
There's another time where Rose sees the cat and she says something like, oh, aren't you a beautiful boy? And he says, I've been doing an undercomb or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then he mentions New Earth as well. Yeah,
he's like, oh, once you've been threatened by a cat in nurse uniform, it kind of takes the fun away. Yeah, that's brilliant. It's got good moments. It's funny. It's got good moments.
But that's what I think are the good parts of, and I know I'm only on for this one episode of the season, so I guess I'm also trying to slip in some, you know, season 2 commentary. But that's also what I like about Russell's era, you know, is those moments that just slip in. And you know, I was going to watch... I was originally going to be on Love and Monsters, which I feel like would almost be a funner episode to watch, objectively. I don't know if you would say better or worse, but I would definitely say funner, you know.
Definitely, yeah, I agree.
One moment I love that Connor sent on, I think he sent on Snapchat when he was watching it, was when they run through the hallways and they just are crossing, and it's the goofiest, dumbest, most Scooby-Doo shit you've ever seen. But it's hilarious. It's like... So good. And they commit to it. They do it so over the top that it actually, like, I think makes it worth leaving in the episode. So yeah, I feel like that sort of stuff would be really welcome in New Who, and I think that's what it has been. You know, most recent seasons, but that's what's been really nostalgic about, you know, those older episodes, I would say.
Connor, give us some of your thoughts.
I pretty much agree with everything Dan said, pretty much. I'd say that it was always an episode that I would actually really enjoy as a kid. I liked the way there was lots of children in it. I used to draw a lot as a child, so that was really cool, and it was quite scary for me to see the drawings, and it took something quite simple and made it scary, which I think is one of the things I love doing in Doctor Who, like, especially Moffat. He always tries to take something simple and make it scary. One thing I will say, which no one's mentioned yet, I think it's incredibly smart that they did the whole 2012 Olympics thing, because it had just been, like, announced, and they decided, why can't we just go in and go to the future? I think that was incredibly smart that they decided to do that, because it had been announced I don't know how early. I
Very cool
don't know how
setting.
early it would have gone announced, but I remember. I think as a kid, I remember it had just recently been announced, and they did this episode. I thought it was a really cool idea. Also, like I said, the drawing stuff I think was really cool. There's so many funny scenes. Like I sent them on yesterday with like one of the neighbors yelling at all the council people, trying to blame them for taking all the kids and stuff. It is so stupid. Chloe Webber, I don't want to be mean because she is just a child actor, but she is very bad. Not very convincing at all. I don't want to be mean.
I would say
because
she's
just
fine,
a kid,
but I would say it's just such a wacky thing to ask any actor, let alone a child actor, to portray.
I get it. I'm trying not to be mean because she is just a child actor, but I think the element, like you said, it's a cool idea. Again, I just think the execution was a bit off. Again, we get the classic, Doctor split from Rose, and then you're like, they're obviously going to come back together. One of the scenes that made me laugh so much, I could not stop laughing, was when Chloe draws the stadium and everyone disappears, and there's that one guy commentating, and he's like, we're going to go to see Bob now. Bob? Not you too, Bob! It was so fucking funny. Not you too, Bob! Oh my god. The council van, a reporter knew they cancel, all funny stuff. But I do. There are a few scenes between the Rose and the Doctor which I really like. Again, especially like just the scenes in the TARDIS when he mentions he was a father once. I love that scene. I stand by that line being sick because I think, to my knowledge, he only mentions having a family. He mentions the crib in Good Man Goes to War, and I think he doesn't say Susan, but I think he references having a granddaughter in Rings of Akaton. I believe he says, I took my granddaughter here. So it's very rare that he mentions stuff like that, which I'm a sucker for. And there's that cool scene at the end where it's so forced, by the way, though. I kind of hate it, but it is kind of cool, where the Doctor looks up and he's like, there's a storm coming. It's like, you have no idea what's coming. How do you know something's coming? And he's like, it's coming.
Yeah, I agree.
And Rose is like, they'll never split us apart.
Cool moment, but makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, Rose is like, oh, they'll never split us up. But it's fine. It's the next episode is part 1 of the season final where you're going to get split up. But yeah, overall, I didn't hate it as much as I thought. But
this is the day I died.
Yeah, this is the day I die. Yeah, literally. That next time trailer slapped. But I think that's about it really. I didn't hate it, but
Yeah, if I can just add to some of what you said, Connor. Sorry, just before you go, Aiden. One of the things that I like about the Olympic stuff, even though I think the Olympic stuff they do maybe a little too much to the point where it's like, was this episode in like partnership with Tourism UK or but what I really like about the Olympic stuff is that, and similar to with what I was saying about it being like such a small town and like just one street, is it really gets across that sense of both like community and people feeling like together and people feeling like they're brought together for something sort of bigger or some sense of community. And it also gets across like a fairly good, even if it is a bit heavy handed, a fairly good sense of like feeling isolated and feeling lonely, what's her name? Chloe Webber, as it's hard to forget her name. She, she obviously does feel very lonely, and she's trying to help those kids. And that concept I think is a good concept. I just don't think they always do it justice. I do think some of the moments with Doctor and Rose are a little bit almost sort of melodramatic, with almost like a soap opera, I guess. But I do generally like that relationship. And one thing that I remember watching, and I just kept thinking, like, Rose as a person, as a character, is so, like, she has, like, nothing going for her. I don't mean that in a bad way, but, like, she's not particularly interesting. And, like, she doesn't, just by her, who she is, but it's just the way, what they give her to do and the stuff she gets to do makes her interesting. And it's like the actions of her as a companion and the roles they give her in each episode is what makes her interesting. And I think that that's something that yeah, I just think makes her a good companion because of the way they used her. If you think about just her like actual story, it's not really that interesting. She's just some girl from an apartment, you know?
Yeah. I think that's part of what is so like stale about the episode. To me, it just feels stale. Like there's just nothing kind of going for it with her just being like a little girl in her room, you know?
Yeah, totally. Well, but that's also why I mean, like, you know, maybe if they could have linked Rose to that and said, oh, you know, because Rose is her only child as far as we know. So like maybe it could have, oh, you know, I remember being and Rose's dad is never around, is he? Oh no, he's dead. But still, she could have said,
Yeah,
oh, you know, I know.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I'm just saying her dad was not an abuser, but I'm just saying that she could have connected with being a fatherless girl, you know? So there are certain things and again, I think the best way to sum this up is potential, you know? But anyway, Aiden, why don't you give your thoughts? You've been very patient.
I think, just timing me on that, I think like at least Rose has like a bit of charisma. Even though she's just like a girl from her apartment, she's fun, right? But
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Weber in her little fucking room is just like, is dead. I don't know, man. I got a few points here.
Yeah, go on.
All right, what's happened? Okay, yeah, TARDIS landing. We discussed that. That was all funny and shiz. Yeah, the setting was really cool. I know we talked about that already as well. It's just weird to think that like when we watched it as a kid, we were like, whoa, that's in 6 years' time. And now it's that was 8 years ago. Like,
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
It's funny, hey, that's a really funny thing because back then it was like a future, like almost like, wow, this will happen.
Yeah,
and now it's
the
almost
past.
like a time capsule of the past.
Yeah,
it's a
legit.
very funny.
Yeah. Now it's a historical.
Yeah, it's weird, hey. It's funny when they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what was that? I didn't get the joke. And did either of you get it? You know, when they get out of the TARDIS and she looks at the band poster? Was that supposed to be a reference to something or?
I don't know.
Okay,
no.
maybe that was a reference and just no one got it. Maybe it aged very poorly.
Yeah, maybe. Connor's got his retired shirt on.
Yeah, sorry, I got so hot in my jumper.
Did you guys notice that an iconic actor in this episode as well?
Oh, Kel.
Wait, who's Kel?
The council man.
No, not him. No, he's amazing
okay.
though. He's amazing.
He is quite iconic.
Was the Are you talking about the guy who was doing
sorry.
narrating for the Olympics?
No.
Okay,
I will
thought
just
he
say
sounded
before you
familiar.
reveal whoever this iconic character is, like, why? I just was thinking in this episode, why the hell would a council van have a massive pickaxe in the fucking back?
to hit the road.
Like, would they really
needs to
do
take
it?
up the road.
Don't they have fucking
Yes.
the drills
Yeah,
and
but it's
shit?
good to have all sorts. Yeah, they would do stuff like that. I didn't find that scene unbelievable at all.
No, I didn't find it. No.
realistic.
I think it was supposed to be absurd, and I love it. I think it's. I'm not dissing it for that. I think it's even better that she just grabs this massive fucking pickaxe and then she uses it to take down the door. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, I know the door.
Oh my god! I was watching this and I was like, she must have been filming that and going, "What the hell am I doing today?"
Who's the actor? Who's this person?
So, me and Dan definitely know him from two things. Connor, I think you've also seen at least up to the season that he's in of this, so you might know him from two things as well. So, one of the neighbors, one of the blokes, he's the guy that the old lady talks to at the start, and he's like,
Primeval.
"Oh, the kids weren't doing anything."
The dad, yeah.
Yeah.
The dad,
Primeval.
he's from Primeval season 2. He's the actor that just like keeps rocking up everywhere. I don't know if you recognize him.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he
He,
keeps.
like, plays
isn't there
multiple roles in it.
clones of him? Isn't he like clones?
Yeah, it's like clones or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In the very first episode of The In-Betweeners, he's the one that
In-Betweeners.
buys the boys the pints or whatever, yeah.
And he gets 4 double rum and cokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the,
That's
he's the classic
hilarious.
like working class actor who's in like everything.
Yeah.
Now,
they just
now you
show
say
up,
Between
hey.
Us, I do. Yeah, I last night I didn't remember Between Us, but I remembered Primeval. He's like the soldier who just keeps showing up and dying each week by future predators.
Yeah.
What did you think of the episode, Aiden? Then, what did you think?
To be honest, like, I agree with most of what you said. I think I maybe disliked it a little more than you guys, just because, like, if something's boring, I really don't engage with it.
Yeah,
And
it
there
was
just
quite
wasn't
boring,
much
yeah.
that sort of made me, like, be like, oh, yeah, cool. Up till the last 10 minutes. Like, I'm a sucker for, like, things coming together, and something that the David era always gets me, no matter the episode, unless you're loving monsters, is, like, when David starts running, Rose starts running, Murray starts swinging his fucking orchestra hands around, the monsters coming behind. Like, when all that stuff's happening, it's cool. And I think the score was really good at the end of this episode when, like, the climax was happening. I thought David, when he comes and picks up the torch, I thought that was, like, a cool moment.
I would say the score
Yeah.
was good throughout all the episode. I actually was thinking at certain parts, I was like, wow, it's just a reminder that Murray's score is so good. Like, even just when they're walking
What happens
around.
to the
Nice
bloke
theme.
though? What happens to the bloke? Why does he fall over? He's like, oh no, and the torch runner has just collapsed.
Remember, because
but
because
no,
of the spaceship,
a man grabs
because
the torch.
the spaceship like lights the fire up more. So I guess they're saying it
He's
tires him
carrying a
out
whole
or something.
Yeah, but that was like, that was when it was daylight. He falls over when it's dark, and I love how the doctor just
Yeah,
grabs
so he's been
the torch
running all
and
day.
no security stop him. I guess so. Yeah, but they're trained to do it.
And how good's Rose's aim as well?
Oh, it's so. That's
Oh my
such,
God.
Yeah.
The shot though that
Yeah,
they
it's so
use when
poor.
she throws it is the
That's
worst
poor.
shot ever.
It's so
It, like,
poor.
The pacing, like, just the speed of the camera is just not the same speed as the thing she's doing. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
I just love how security let the doctor run with the torch. Our man has
That's what
picked
I
up
thought. I
the
was
torch.
like, who is
I know.
not tackling him right now?
He's just running with it, and he's like, "Yahoo!
They're loving it. Nobody's stopping him.
Another person has grabbed the torch." Oh god!
Oh,
it's
one
so
of the
funny.
best, by the way. I was gonna say this as well. You guys need a button. I don't know if you guys do sounds or anything. You need a button that just
We do.
says
One day.
that just has David saying fingers to lips.
Fingers on lips.
And it could just
Fingers on lips.
it could just shut everyone
That's a
up
good
on
part.
the show.
It's got some
That's
funny
how you
moments.
get everyone to
It
stop
really does.
talking. So whoever wants to talk.
yeah.
Did you guys like the scribble monster? The big scribble?
Oh, that
Oh,
was
that's great.
dumb.
You
You know what I find hilarious
Sorry, Aiden,
too is
go on.
like how he just holds it and then he takes an eraser and some of it disappears. Like, that makes no sense.
Makes no sense. But I thought the effect actually was kind of cool. Like, the
Yeah, actually, I agree.
eraser
I
effect.
agree.
I
Yeah.
don't know how they did it. Like, yeah.
It was so funny because watching it, I just remember saying, as a kid, it made perfect sense to me. I was like, oh, well, he's holding a scribble, so it would erase. And then as an adult, I'm like, that is not how any of that works.
No.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say other than, yeah, the ending really got me. But other than that, the first, like, 30, 35 minutes were really flat to me.
So you
just
reckon
in
even
those,
just
like,
from the get-go, Aiden, you were bored? Like, you didn't even like the potential or what?
Nah, the story never hooked me. I think because the performances weren't really there. And
It's one of the only
I-
fully Earth-set episodes, too.
Of series
Have you
2.
seen series 1?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, series 1 is... Aiden got me with that in the
Okay,
questions. It was
guys,
like,
damn.
about the series 1. I don't know, but that even sent me because there's so many, like, past episodes in series 1. I didn't even think that there wasn't one set off of Earth, but it turns out I was
Yeah.
wrong, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think something that the episode does have, it is like the last hurrah for Rose and the Doctor. So I think the fact
Yes,
that
I
they do
totally
have
agree.
those little bits of humor and they really showcase their relationship here and there in that, I think was really good.
I agree. I think
And
that's
it also
a really
did pretty
good
good
point.
at showing sort of how Rose has developed and her sort of doing things on her own, which was really good, I thought.
Yeah, I actually liked how they gave her her little independent bit where the Doctor ditched her, and I think again, I don't think they handle it as well as they could have necessarily, but I think it was a good way to hint at Rose having to deal with not having the doctor. I don't think they did it as good as they could have, but yeah, you know, I mean, obviously the next time trailer teases, oh, my last day on Earth or whatever, you know, so they're clearly going in that direction. I will also say, like, I like the idea that it's just, it's not past, it's not particularly in the past or particularly in the future. Like, it's just kind of around now-ish, you know? And I actually would also like a couple of episodes set in that. And I'm talking about, like, in Who now, you know? Like, another one that comes to mind is 11th Hour. You know, 11th Hour is set fully in the present day. And that's a great episode, you know? So I think you can do a lot with episodes that are set in the present day. But, yeah, unfortunately, this one doesn't.
All right, I'm going to go for a super quick urination. When I get back, are we ready for Australia's favourite segment?
What is this segment?
Dan, have you ever heard of Goof of the Week?
Oh, I have not.
I thought you didn't have one.
Connor,
This is...
I didn't, but then I did. I remembered one, actually. It's not huge, so don't get your hopes up. Connor,
Alright.
I don't know. I'll put the fun elevator music on again whilst I go urinate. You just spit some facts, maybe tell Dan about Goof of the Week, tell Dan about something about the show. You've got like 40 seconds.
Before we do Goof of the Week, because I'll give you some more time for the toilet and you can go if you want. But I was looking at the trivia for this episode, and it did actually say that this episode was specifically asked. It was either specifically asked of the writer or the writer asked Russell if the episode could be like a very kids aimed episode. So the episode was very much designed to be for kids, which explains why it's about kids, why it stars a kid. You know, it's you can sort of tell.
Can I say
something, demographic?
You know, you broke up, but I can tell what you just said. But normally when Aiden's gone, it's when we chat shit about him. I normally do when he goes to the toilet, but normally it's just myself. So we can just say shit about Aiden, he'll listen to it in the edit.
Oh, I see, I see.
Aiden sucks, or some dumb shit like that.
Great.
And hopefully no one takes it seriously.
Hey, Connor, that's
Aiden.
not dumb. That's the smartest thing you said today.
Thank you, Dan. We get to see Aiden on Friday, actually. Oh, is that him coming back? It is.
Oh,
Pretend we weren't talking about him at all.
I wish we didn't.
We weren't talking about him. We were talking about Goof for the Week. Yeah, that's
too
what
many
Goof for the
times
Week
this
is, Dan.
week.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, that's good to know.
I feel like that's not
That
what
was
happened.
quick.
I'm very happy to see this Goof of the Week that I've just learned all about.
It's a fun little segment. It is a fun one, actually. It is good. All right,
Aiden just pissed in the garden. So.
Australia's favourite segment, Goof of the Week. Connor, do your fake theme song.
Ding 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 ding. That's how it
And it
goes.
sounds nothing like that. The actual.
I
sting
know.
is
I watch the
completely different.
episodes.
I don't know what's
Sorry,
wrong
I
with
listen
Connor.
to them each week. I'm aware.
And you're like sat in your room, like trying to practice to get it right each time.
No, the complete opposite, actually.
How different can you get it? All right, my Goof of the Week this week is, and it's grasping on straws for a Goof of the Week, but when the Doctor and Rose, they first land and they start walking, and there's like the posters on the poles and stuff like that. There's like a wide shot of them from behind, and at the end of like when they show that shot, they're like pretty much in line with the person that's hanging up the posters, and then it cuts to a front on like mid shot of like a two shot of both of them, and they're like talking, and then there's like a minute or two of dialogue as they're walking, and then they're like, oh hi, and talk to the person at the sign. So there's just like a continuity of like the walking thing between those shots. That's it. It's not a huge one. It's nothing crazy.
Is that
it's just something I
it?
noticed.
Nah, it's fine.
That's
good,
it, I'm
Aiden.
afraid.
You did good. You got one.
did.
I actually didn't have one this week, so I'm glad you found one.
Look, someone has to have one. Is the rule?
Well, I would
Yeah,
say
it's true.
one thing, this is not really a Goof of the Week per se, but this was just a stray thought I had while watching the episode. And I was just thinking, like, I can't believe David did, first of all, that good quality of an accent, but that he did that accent for so long. and like such a strong
it's crazy.
English
You wouldn't
accent.
be able to tell.
He had the
And-
world fooled. He had the world fooled. Like when we,
It's very,
I remember
very
watching Doctor Who
interesting.
Confidential, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, just that's not Scottish at all." But he's like a
crazy.
Scottish accent, and I'd be like, "What the fuck? Why is he putting on an accent?"
Yeah,
And it's
that
so
sent me as
you know,
a kid. I was like, I could not
almost-
believe it that he was not English.
It's almost funnier that like Capaldi walks in a couple years later and just doesn't try at all. He just says,
Well,
"Fuck it," and
I
he's
think
just-
that was intentional. I do believe
Yeah,
they
of
said
course,
to him
of
keep
course.
the Scottish accent, which I think's great. I do love that he's got. It definitely is the best. I just can't just love
it's sort
it.
of
It's the
interesting
best.
because, well, it's interesting because, you know, when David was announced, there was actually a bit of a, you know, it's surprising to hear this when you know how much of a sort of fury there was over every single Doctor announcement since then. But when David was announced, it was a bit like, oh, is this guy a bit young to be the Doctor? You know, can't believe we're hiring such a young guy. And obviously he had to do the English accent because the Doctor's always been English and it has to be this very proper English accent. And then, of course, when Matt came in, it's like, well, now he's incredibly young to be the Doctor. And then Capaldi was too old and Jodie is a woman. So it's all, you know, it's all like, oh my gosh, are we going too far with this casting? But it's just, it's funny to see how, I guess, traditional David had to be in a way.
Yeah. I agree.
Because that accent is like very, very proper. I love the accent. I think it's a fantastic. And also, by the way, just the other accents in this episode are so funny. Like all the people in the town. And I mean, Kel deserves a special shout out. I mean, the council man.
I'm calling
love
for the
his
council.
Best worker I've ever met. Yeah.
That's the council van.
You're taking a council axe out of a council van, hitting a council road in a council
me.
town.
I'm gonna spit some real quick fear her facts for you. All right.
Okay.
do it.
Are we ready?
I may have touched on this while you
Yep.
were gone,
So-
but go on.
Oh, did you?
No, go on. Go ahead.
Well, obviously, you know, you already talked about Stephen Fry and stuff like that. Something that is kind of funny is Ebola Abaji, who portrayed Chloe. She was discovered in an after-school drama club where casting director Andy Pryor had held auditions for the part. Ebola had to play both Chloe's normal character and her character while possessed by the Isolus, which Ebola felt was weird. Her description in quotation marks was,
Yeah.
it was weird.
I had
was
read
weird.
that. I had read that. And that's why I don't think she deserves a lot of flack for the portrayal. Because, I mean, again, like I said, it's
I'm
a
sorry,
weird-ass
Dan.
character to be asked to
I'm
play.
sorry. I had to say it.
No, I'm not saying
didn't
that.
want to
I'm not
say
saying
it,
you shouldn't have. Because
but I
look,
did.
the thing is, the performance is not great, but I wouldn't put that on her. I would just say that it's just such a strange thing to be asked to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's also, so a hand double of Ebola drew the pictures. I feel this is like she's a young actress and I keep calling her Ebola. I'm so sorry to this lovely lady.
Yeah,
I just
that's
have
pretty tough.
genuinely, I have no idea how to pronounce this name.
I mean, she is like, I presume, of African like descent. So
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm
pretty
kind of
rough.
like, oh,
Jesus.
fuck.
yeah, maybe
Yeah,
retire
oh.
the Ebola phrase.
Okay.
maybe
Before-
put Connor's
before this,
shirt on that Ebola term.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
before we get boycotted or something. So a hand double for Agbajay drew the pictures while the series' storyboarder, Sean Williams, drew the father in the cupboard. The storyboarder drew him.
Interesting. Okay.
Fun facts.
That is
I,
cool.
I actually think the what would you call it, time lapse of the drawings. I thought that was kind of cool, but I just don't know why they did the whole stop motion at the start and then time lapse after. Like, I wish they'd kind of committed to one or the other. I'm a sucker for stop motion, so I would have loved if they did that throughout the episode.
vibes.
But I think, and I don't know if it's on there, but I think this episode was supposed to be a low budget episode, which is obviously why they shot it just in one little estate, you know, but
Yeah.
that would explain why they couldn't do the whole thing stop motion, you know, but it is what it is.
2 more facts. Okay, firstly, this episode was shot sort of with Idiot's Lantern, sort of like in between shoots for that and stuff like that.
No way.
But also, some reshoots and pickup shots took place for a week, like a month after they shot the episode. So I don't know if the episode was even worse, and then they were like, "Oh fuck, we better redo it." Also, the original title for the episode was "Chloe Webber Destroys the Earth."
Yeah, I did. I read that. Yeah, that is hilarious.
And the next one, do you know the next one, Dan? You're a bad girl, Chloe Webber.
Brilliant.
Oh
so
my
good.
god, they're so bad. When
bad
do
for
you?
her.
Maybe this should. Maybe I've just spoiled a question, but I'm gonna have to ask it. Do you guys know when the first Doctor Who title was like longer than 4 words? Because it always sounds so weird when it's a really long worded episode title. Do you know what I mean? I know
The End
there's
of
the
the
Doctor
World.
Dances
I
in
always find it
season
weird.
1.
The End
I
of the
found
World.
it weird when
Episode
Moffat
2.
came at us with like the one word titles, and he was like pilot,
Blink.
oxygen, extremist, smile. There's like
Yeah.
5 or 6 in a row in season 10.
That
Oh,
are
yeah,
just
Extremist.
one word. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
knock,
extremist,
knock.
and then it was Pyramid of the World and all that, and then that took over the
Yeah.
Praxis,
But
of course.
there's a bunch of hell short ones there.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel
What?
like the perfect episode title length is about 2 words, I would say, if you ask me. Fear Her is actually quite a good title name, I would say.
You must fear her. She is
I think
not
that's
a
a
human
good-
being.
The Rings of Akaten. I've always thought that was a bit long, personally, just for me.
Sure.
This episode's a
Maybe
bit
just-
long. I'm
they ever
joking,
do any,
obviously. Everyone.
Actually, I will also say, by the way, I like the whole sense. You know, when the lady, one of the old neighbors, was like, or someone in the episode was like, they're gonna bring the torch through this town. A little bit of us gets to be, and I thought that was really sweet. I thought that was a
That was
really
cool.
nice little moment.
Yeah.
But did they ever do anything? Did the BBC ever do anything Doctor Who related at the 2012 Olympics? Did that ever
I don't
did they
think
ever
so.
reference that? Okay.
I think
think
there was
so.
a box somewhere. There might have been. I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
not.
also, potentially a goof of the week, if you guys are looking for one. And I have no interest in fact checking this. But at the end of the episode, the Doctor does say something about Papua New Guinea killed it at fucking shot put or something. So
Yeah, so
Yeah,
did they?
yeah.
unless Papua New Guinea actually killed it, then that's a goof.
Yeah, big goof. How dare they not
Yeah.
see the future?
Well,
All right,
it would have
boys,
been
shall we-
really cool if it was accurate, but
Yeah, but that'd be a miracle.
the Doctor Who writers are no Simpsons writers. Let's just put it that way.
That's right. That's facts. We need to like buff up the length of these episodes. I need to wriggle off soon. So shall we give our ratings for
Dan, you start because you're the guest.
Oh dear.
out of 10, Danny boy?
It's gonna have to be a 3. I was
Three,
gonna give it
really?
a. I was
That's
gonna give it a 4,
harsh.
but
You didn't really say anything bad about
I
it,
had
and
to
now
go
you're giving
three.
it a 3. That's what Aiden gave Blood the Monsters.
Yeah.
yeah,
Fair
because
enough.
I'm a very positive person, so I tried to really give it the benefit of the doubt. But if you're gonna
And then give it
force
a
it out of
3.
me, I would have to agree with Aiden. It's a very boring episode. The plot sort of goes no. I said a lot of the stuff I said was about potential. It really just unfortunately goes nowhere. Yeah, it's very disappointing, especially of how much I think it could have done. It just does not come off very good. I think it almost gets worse points because I feel like it had more potential, you know. But it just ends up being
enough.
pretty boring. No characters apart from Kel are interesting, and the Doctor and Rose. So
Yeah.
it's just a very forgettable episode.
Fun.
Whenever you guys told me I was doing it, I could barely remember what the hell episode was. Like, it's a very forgettable one. So 3 out of 10 for me.
It's the boring shit dog episode. Connor, what's your rating?
I'm going to give it a 4.5. I'm going to be a little bit less harsh than I think you two are. I gave All the Monsters a 6, but I just had so much more of a fun time with it. This episode, it had some really cool stuff in it that I found funny and also interesting, especially that line from the Doctor about being a father. I really love that. But yeah, execution really wasn't great. Just missing a lot of like excitement and passion. It just seemed like an episode that was just slapped on just to get us through to the final. So yeah, I think 4.5 is pretty...
Which is really what it was.
Yeah, literally, yeah. I think 4.5 is pretty nice, to be fair. But yeah, that's me.
I guess the sad... Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Aiden, but just quickly, the sad thing I'll say about the whole dad moment is that it's a really nice moment, but there's nothing about it that makes you remember that it's even in this episode. You know?
That's
like
the thing.
When you think of that moment...
you say that, I'm like,
you just...
that was a cool thing, but did it happen? I don't remember.
Yeah. Like, and every time you remember it, you're never going to say, oh yeah, that moment from Fear Her. You'll just say, oh, the moment where he remembers he had a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, give your rating, Aiden.
My rating is going to be 3.5 because I did think the end boosted it up a little bit for me. And the little bits of humor spurts were pretty good. But upon the whole, real boring, really fucking forgettable. And that's all I got to really say on it. Connor, I realized we were meant to have like a birthday celebration this episode for you. But
that's alright.
We didn't. We forgot
okay.
to. Ooh,
I get to see your beautiful face on Friday, so that's all that matters.
Part of that was going to be... Exactly. We got Con's birthday on Friday. But I guess the reason why I forgot about it was because we are going to have Connor open up my present for him on air because it's Doctor Who related and I think a lot of fun.
That's okay. We can just do it next week. I'm sure.
Maybe next week. Yeah, it'll be just a me and Connor. It was going to be fun because we have Dan on here and we've had a couple of beers and stuff.
Yeah, that's okay though. That's fine, Boo. I appreciate it.
I'll make it huge for you next week.
Okay. That's okay. If it comes in the mail, just bring it on Friday. I'll keep it till we record.
We'll see.
Oh!
Oh.
Oh!
Sorry.
Oh!
Aiden, you're acting more
There were
suspicious
so many other
than
things
Chloe
I wanted
Webber.
to talk about. Chloe Webber. I wanted to talk about
what else?
The Daleks TV show that looks shit. Actually, it looks okay.
Awful.
But
Oh yeah, I watched
the
all those
animation
trailers
sucks.
for you, by the way, Aiden.
It sucks.
Sorry.
It's
The
awful.
animation
The Dalek-
sucks ass, but the music I thought was cool.
So what's just if you have time, what is this David Tennant shit VR game? What is the controversy?
Yeah,
what
what
the
is
hell
that?
the
What is that?
deal?
No, it's a console game. It's also a VR game. You can do both.
Oh really? I
you
thought it was just VR.
No, this one's both. And you play, and it's like got the 13th and the 10th Doctor in it. So literally, the meme at the moment is like the 10th Doctor is in everything at the moment, and he's. In
I think that's the
everything
the
Jodie
controversy
related as
is
well.
that. Yeah, I think the controversy
Yeah.
is literally just the idea that Tennant is in everything, like Big Finish, like all the comics, all the games. Which, you know what? I
So,
saw a tweet the other
when
day.
he
It's like, who cares if he
inevitably-
loves it?
When he inevitably comes back in the 60th, it's gonna be like, oh, it's David again. There he is.
I
Is it
see.
canon
it wouldn't
though?
be a
Is
special.
it canon that he meets Jodie in this game?
No,
Yeah,
but
are we really
but
counting that?
regardless of if it is or isn't, it does make it a bit less special when we're gonna see them on screen.
Right,
yeah?
right. Well, it'll be his first live action since the 50th.
Yeah, it's funny. Like people always say, Eccleston has
So
fucked
good.
off Doctor Who since he left, but Capaldi hasn't even touched Doctor Who since he left.
Yeah, I wonder when he's going to do Big Finish, or if he ever will, because Matt never did.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Matt hasn't done any since Deep Breath.
No, he's not done Big
Oh,
Finish,
okay.
and neither's Pete. I think
Wow.
Pete did say he wants to give it just a bit of a break. I know what Matt
Good.
said. I know they asked Pete if he
Yeah.
wants to do Big Finish, and he just said he kind of
I
said,
think
"I'm
Pete
good for
struggled a
now."
lot with how. Yeah, I think Pete struggled with how like intensive shooting Who was, and like he kind of wanted to go
Yeah.
on, but like it was just like so much that he was like, Steve's leaving, so I'm gonna leave also.
Yeah, he did say that it was very because he's old. Like he did say that it was quite impactful on his health, and he did say I put all of my energy into it, and he did say that it was those shoots lasted like 8-9 months, and he is old, and like he just said like it got to me a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he had a bad time on Who, but I don't think he wants to delve into it just yet. Like I know he said he's going to take like after Paddington 2, he said he's going to take like a year off acting, which he did. And then he did a few things, and now he's going to be in Suicide Squad, obviously. But yeah, he took like a year off after Paddington. He literally said at a Comic-Con, he said, I'm going to disappear for a bit, because I just think for his health, he had to do it, which is fair enough. Yeah. We did his best. I think he did amazing. My favourite Doctor, so.
Yeah, same. Good bloke. Connor, well, actually, sorry, first, Dan, thanks so much for being a guest here. It was lovely having you on Starship UK
Aiden.
over here.
The very last
Starship
thing
UK.
I'll say is that if you're lucky, Aiden, then in January we'll know whether you were right, and maybe Jodie is Davros's mum. So maybe I'll be proven wrong in the end.
Yeah, I think Aiden might win the quiz, technically.
Yeah, I know, he might win after the fact. No, thank you guys so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be on this show.
When are you coming back, Dan?
Really, I love to be on, and I look forward to coming on next season. Next season, at some point, whenever you guys want to have me on, we'll discuss the episode behind the scenes, and I'm excited to come back. I have said that, Aiden, you did introduce me as the one episode a season guy, but we can bump up those numbers. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't just need to be set.
I wouldn't push you up, Dan, but.
You came on in season 1 and we were like, here's Dan, our very first guest coming on for one episode. And then after that you were like, guys, I think I better be on once per season. The fans love me. And now you're like, I think season 6
Dan,
is going to be every
big
fucking
show.
episode.
This is a big show. We're killing it at the ratings. We're the number one podcast in Australia. We're killing it.
I love it. I love to hear it.
Aiden told me that we're number one in Australia, and I can't...
Connor, did you not read the fine print?
I can believe it, but what fine print?
We're the number one lockdown Doctor Who podcast with people named Aiden and Connor in Australia.
So that narrows down a little bit, but in my eyes, that's still number one in Australia. Still huge. We're doing good, hey guys, so I'm glad that you're on here, Dan.
That other show starring Aiden Brown Pant and Connor Dickhead, hey, they ain't got nothing on you, so I think this show's better.
I will say this is my other podcast co-host, Daniel Ade. If you want to watch our show twice a week, it's at For a Laugh Pod cast on YouTube. You can find it if you want to. That's what I've got to say.
That's right.
You.
And
that's my
tweet
plug.
at us over at 50 Doctor, because that is a good place to be.
Josh Snares follows us now, which means he loves our TV show / podcast.
Means we are huge, doesn't it?
Yeah, we are huge. How are you not subscribed yet?
Connor, lead us out in song.
Yeah, let me just grab my... I'm going to grab my ruler, which I threw when I got the question right.
No worries.
I just want to
take this moment to apologise for my Ebola thing. I kind of feel bad about the Ebola gag.
Aiden, I think I apologised to Dylan maybe 5 times in the last week about last week, so don't feel bad. I felt like that last episode.
It's okay.
I just want a disclaimer that
if it makes you feel better, I'm almost certain that your Ebola gag killed less people than Ebola did.
Connor, please sing us out.
So there's that. That's a good.
Stop digging ourselves graves.
Digging a hole.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3. It's Aiden and Connor's podcast. They're doing Doctor Who reviews.
Doing
Doctor Who reviews.
Man, it's like you don't know the words.
Oh.
I was ding. I just did the triangle at the end.
Oh, cool. That's a cut.